Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Garden on My Mind. Today I thought I'll take you through my Monstera family, by which I mean the species that I own in the Monstera genus of plants. Just like the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom also has a taxonomy, by which I mean is that based on certain characteristics of a certain kind of plants, the family is determined, then the genus, and ultimately the species. So Monstera belongs to a genus of plants in the family called Araceae, or aroids you can say, which is commonly used these days. And they have about, I would say, 45 species currently available in Monsteras, and a lot of research are still being conducted to find like new species of Monsteras in the wild. I would say commercially there are about 12 to 14 species of Monsteras which are available, but in the wild the rest of all are in the wild. So Monsteras are native to Central America, and they have these, as you can see in this Deliciosa, they have these aerial roots, and they climb up like large trees. And this particular word Monstera is derived from a Latin word which means monstrous or abnormal. And why they call it abnormal, I would say reasonably so, because these grow really huge in the nature, like up to like 50 feet, people say. Most of you might not know that they actually bear flowers, and called spadix, which is similar to the flower of a peace lily, like it grows like one kind of a petal, and there are fruits inside the spathe of that particular petal, and those are actually edible, but that is a very rare phenomena. So as I said, Monstera is a genus of plants. But whenever we talk about Monstera, the only thing that comes to our mind is this Monstera deliciosa. But Monstera deliciosa is a species of the genus called Monstera. So the species deliciosa is derived from the word delicious, because apparently the fruit, as I mentioned that Monsteras bear flowers and fruits as well, so the fruit in a deliciosa is actually very delicious, and that's how the name is derived. So as you have seen in my other videos, this is the largest Monstera deliciosa that I own, and it must be about 5 to 6 years old, because if you see, the leaves are very matured and they have these fenestrations, these round holes. These are generally grow in the rainforest, and since the leaves are very huge, and to prevent the damage of big leaves, they have these fenestrations so that the strong winds or the rains are not damaging the full leaf, so it just passes through these fenestrations. That is what scientists believe, which might be true. Recently I got about 5 to 6 new leaves, which is great, and this is the largest leaf so far. And if you see the Monstera, this one is still, a new leaf is coming out, and there's one more new coming out here. So this is my deliciosa, and I have another one. This is actually my second or third deliciosa. This was my first Monstera deliciosa, and I feel that these leaves are much more beautiful than this one somehow, because they look like those photographs that we see in the internet, and the color of this particular variety, I would say, is very dark, and somehow it's much more shinier than the deliciosa which is here. And if you look at the plant, I'll just turn it around. It's huge. But of late it has not given any new leaves. I don't know why. I have been fertilizing it, but somehow it's not giving too much of leaves. So there are two things in Monstera deliciosa. In this particular species, they say that there is a difference between Monstera deliciosa and Borsigiana. But I have read conflicting views. They say that Borsigiana is a variation of Monstera deliciosa, but I'm not sure. They say that deliciosa has these ruffled kind of petiole which attaches to the leaf, which actually differentiates between a deliciosa and a Borsigiana, but I haven't seen any Borsigiana variety yet. Whichever monstera I have, even this one, they have these, you know, ruffled kind of petiole at the end. There's another rare variety of this Monstera deliciosa or Borsigiana, which is variegated. So the top, I would say the variegated version is the Monstera albo. So the white and the green variegated Monstera is called the Monstera deliciosa albo Borsigiana. And there are species of these variegated Monstera which are found in the wild, but I would say finding those plants are very, very difficult and rare. And the variegated Monstera which are out there in the wild, and they happen because of the mutation of the cells, and they don't have much stability, so it might just revert into green at any point of time. So what people are doing is that they are cultivating these through propagations. If they see a variegated Monstera, they cultivate it through propagation to keep the stability of the variegation of the white in the plant. So I have a Monstera albo, I'll show you. So this is the Monstera albo which I bought last year because I felt that I should own one. As you know, the albo means that there are some part of the leaf which doesn't have chlorophyll, and that's why it is white in color, and they don't survive. So you might see a beautiful white and green variegation for about a month or month and a half, and it will just dry off because it cannot make food on its own. So that's why if you see these leaves, they are just browning out, and it's very natural phenomena. And this is the new leaf that I got, and the best part of this plant is that of course it looks beautiful, but this particular variety or that I got has a very nice mottled kind of speckled kind of variation. Sometimes you see very stark green and white, which one of them which I have, I'll show you. But this I like because the variation is really nice. It is all like a splash of white and green. This is another albo that I own. The lower part of the plant is more green and less white, so the survival of the plant is better. But the leaves that you see here, these are like half moon, where half of the leaf is completely white and the other leaf has little bit of variation. So this also looks beautiful. So let's see. I have actually taken 2 cuttings from my albo just like an insurance, so that in case I lose the plant at some point of time, I should have the cuttings ready. So this I put it in leca. Apparently plants do well in leca. I'm not very sure. This is the first time I'm doing it. So this is one cutting with one leaf. Let's see how it grows. And I have another one. This is again in leca. It had 2 leaves, but if you see, one leaf is completely white, so of course it will die off. But let's see. Monstera deliciosa has another variation of variegated leaf, but the variegation is yellow in color. So this is a very juvenile kind of a plant. It is not so matured. So this is the only leaf which has a little bit of yellow, and I'm still waiting to get a new leaf in this, because I've heard that these are extremely slow grower, and I can see that it's been like 6 months and there is no new leaf at all. And this is called Monstera deliciosa aurea. Next is, I would say, the most common one in Monstera is the Adansonii. I'll show you, I have it here. So again, it's a beautiful plant, though I have not been very successful in growing Adansonii, healthy Adansonii, for some reason, I don't know why. So Monstera Adansonii grow very fast. You can actually, these are vining plants, same as the other Monsteras, and you can actually vine them down or stake them up, and they grow very fast. And these are relatively easy to care, but I have not been able to grow a very, I would say, bushy or healthy plant. This is one of them. There I have another one. this one, but this is very prone to mealybugs. And when a new leaf comes, the mealybugs sit inside the the stem, and it's very difficult to clean them up. This is another one, again very leggy. The next variety that I own is this Esquilato, Monstera Esquilato. It looks similar to an Addisoni, but the leaves are bigger, the fenestrations are also large, and if you help them climb up a tree or a pole, these leaves turn out to be really huge. So I have I have this one, I have a smaller version. This is another Monstera. If you see, the leaves are really huge, but I am not sure what species it is. I have been trying to find out in the internet. What I see is that it is a variation of Monstera Esquilato, and it might be a variation called Laniata, but I am not 100% sure. But the leaves are really huge. I got a new leaf here, but somehow it doesn't look too healthy. Maybe it's just adjusting to the new environment. So this might be called a Laniata. It's not a species, but I would say it's a variation of Esquilato. This is another variety of Monstera, which is called Monstera Peru or Carstenianum or something like that. But there are conflicting views again, though I don't see the name of this species in like the research papers, but somehow people call it the Monstera Peru, and it is very different than the normal Monstera because it has very thick leaves. They have started getting available in the markets these days. Earlier it was quite difficult to get one of these. This one was growing profusely for me, but somehow after I put it up in the stake, it has stopped growing. I can't make out why, but the leaves are really beautiful, thick, and they have these bulges in the leaves which make it really beautiful. It is dark green in color, and they are supposed to be fast growers. This is actually another species of Monstera called Monstera pinapartita, and it might not look like a Monstera, but it is one of the species. And as they mature, you have these splits. They don't have these fenestrations, but they get splits when they mature over a period of time. And the leaves are very, I would say, thick. So when I bought it, it was like one leaf, and it has given me one new leaf, and there's another new leaf coming out, but I need to put it in a stake. I think it will take about a year and a half's time to get the splits in the leaf. So these were the Monsteras that I have in my collection right now. And you must have heard about mini Monsteras, right? But there is nothing called a mini Monstera. They don't belong to the genus of Monstera. Those are actually Rhaphidophora. So this one, right? This one is very commonly known as mini Monstera because of the shape of the leaves. But this is actually not a Monstera. This belongs to the genus called Rhaphidophora, and it is called Rhaphidophora testasperma. There is something called this Durcusiva. This again, people might say it's a Monstera variety, but it's not. It's a Rhaphidophora, and Rhaphidophora Durcusiva. This I got recently. It's a beautiful leaf. As the leaves matured, they get bigger. There's a new leaf coming out here. So this is a Pertusa. Again, if you see, it looks very similar to a Monstera because of the splits it has, and it's a very beautiful plant. It doesn't belong to the Monstera genus, but Rhaphidophora. So that was it, my collection of Monsteras and Rhaphidophora. Hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and please do subscribe to my channel. So till next time, happy gardening. Bye.